What's going on, everybody? Dr. Tim Reed here, physical therapist and online fitness coach. Today I'm going to go over a few stretches and core activities to help decrease tightness and that twinge you get in your low back when you're doing certain exercises. Somebody came to me asking me the question if I could go over this, but they were getting some tightness in their low back from doing leg press and squats, and I know I've had a few other people reach out, so I just wanted to touch on this real quick. But again, this is a disclaimer. I am not going into any kind of treatment for sciatica or any other kind of radiating or referred pain from the lumbar spine. This is strictly just stretches for your low back and then some core activities to follow up with those stretches. So first off though, the reason for this tightness that we get in our low back is we all live in this extended position. So we have this natural lordotic curve in our lumbar spine, but then when we're standing up all day, like, we just tend to get lazy and drop into this position. We put our back into even more extension. And so what I like to say is we live in an extended position. So when we're standing, oftentimes, like, even though we're standing up straight, like you can see me now, like I'm extended in my lumbar spine. Well, what happens in our lumbar spine is those tissues are extended, and then over the course of the day, you are just hanging. Those tissues are at end range, and that's where the irritation comes from and that tightness comes from. So if you were to sit here and go like this, so bending backwards, you could do this for a minute and have no issue. But if you were to sit here and do this with your finger, same thing with your back for 8, 16, 24 hours out of the day. Well, not 24 hours, but you get the point. If you do this for a long time, you're hanging out, those tissues are at end range, and they start to get pissed off, and then they get irritated. And so when you're laying in bed, for instance, say you get 6 to 8 hours of sleep, we're laying, so even now, my hips are in this, or my lumbar spine's in this extended position if I was standing straight or if I was laying down, but we're in this extended position, and then we go to bend forward and we get that little twinge, that little ache. And the reason is because we're in this extended position for so long, and now we're asking our body to go into a flexed position. So we're in this extended position, we're asking our body to go into a flexed position, but our body's been here for so long that the vertebrae just don't move well on each other to bend forward. And so this is one stretch that you can do to decrease the tightness and almost retrain your body, retrain your vertebrae how to move on top of each other. Of course, as we get older, it gets more difficult. So that's kind of my whole reason for educating on this, is that you have to, just like you brush your teeth every single day, twice, 2, 3 times a day, doing stretches like this, you should have the same kind of idea, doing these stretches 2 to 3 times a day, just to help prevent further issues. So anyways, gonna go into this stretch quick. Whew. This wall is cold. So first one, so we have this natural curve in our back, that extended position. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna tighten your stomach. So engage your core, tighten your stomach, tuck your butt. You're taking that curve out of your back. So you're bent, and then you're taking that curve, putting your spine into a neutral position. So you're tighten the stomach, tuck the butt. Tighten the stomach, tuck the butt. So you're flat up against the wall. Legs are out wide, your knees are nice and bent, and then so what you're doing right now is by tightening your stomach and tucking your butt, yes, you're putting your spine into a neutral position, but you're engaging your core and you're locking your pelvis into place. And so now when you bend forward, the only thing that will move is your lumbar spine. And so you're gonna get a stretch only in your lumbar spine. And so when most people bend forward, I can bend forward and touch the floor, no problem, but my pelvis is rotating. Whereas now, I tighten my stomach, I engage my core, I lock my pelvis into place, and then now all I'm doing is getting a stretch through my lumbar spine. And again, just training the vertebrae how to flex on top of one another. And I'm not gonna be able to go down very far, but definitely getting a stretch in my low back. So now you can go right down the middle. You can bias it to get a stretch on the right. Take your right hand down towards your left foot. You get more of a stretch on the right side. If you take your left hand to your right foot, you get more of a stretch on your left side. And then again, if you have a lot of tightness in your low back, you can do that and then come back up, and then just continue to work further and further down until that tightness goes away. And then of course, that body position is just something to pay mind to when you're doing squats or a leg press. Whenever I do a squat, leg press, which I will get into that in another video, I am always in a tightened stomach, tuck the butt. I'm always in a neutral spine position when I squat, because I don't like to be in this extended position, because we're living in that extended position all day, as I was explaining. But then now you come to the gym and you overload it with maybe an overhead shoulder press, and all you're doing is now you have weight into that extended position, or you're doing a lat pull down and you're hinging at the lumbar spine, or you put, say you put 225 on the squat bar. Now you're just overloading that extended position even more, and that's what causes the tightness and that irritation and that little twinge you get. And so now it's just up to you to strengthen the core, tighten the stomach, tuck the butt, engage the core in this position, and then maintain it throughout that range of motion to keep your back healthy. So next thing we'll take you to is I'm going to show you an exercise, or a core strengthening exercise, to follow up with this stretch. So out there, that was a stretch to help to train the vertebrae how to get out of that extended position and bend forward into a flex position to decrease that tightness. Now this is a strengthening activity for your core, with the same kind of idea in mind of just allowing your lumbar spine to go through small mobility changes to decrease the tissue resistance and decrease the tightness in your low back. So again, I lay down and I've got this natural curve in my spine. You can see there's a gap there. Tighten your stomach, tuck your butt, and again, using your core to engage that. Because again, even now, like even though it is a core exercise, and you'll feel it, like your abs will burn doing it, but you're still getting mobility through your lumbar spine just through these little shifts. So tighten the stomach, tuck your butt, you're still getting a stretch through all those tissues in your lumbar spine. So then, all you're doing is tighten your stomach, tuck your butt, and then you're just gonna engage your core by pulling in on the band. Tighten the stomach, tuck the butt, pull on the band. Tighten the stomach, tuck the butt, pull on the band. So, so that is a stretch to those. So the first was a stretch to improve the mobility in your lumbar spine. This is an activity this is a strengthening activity to follow up. And then now it's just the idea of implementing these. So I will do these stretches before a heavy leg day. Anytime I feel like my back's getting tight, I will do these stretches, but I definitely do them I do them before a leg day, just to make sure that I have that mobility in my spine, my core is engaged the right way before I ask it to support any type of load. So I appreciate you guys watching this. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments.